A few weeks ago, Jimmy Kimmel was taken off air by Nexstar and Sinclair, two different broadcast groups. Now, he's back on air now, but on that day, it was following comments made by FCC Chairman Brendan Carr on a podcast, who called comments made by Kimmel on air some of the sickest conduct possible. And companies can find ways to change conduct and take action, frankly, on Kimmel, or there's going to be some additional work for the FCC ahead. What was the comment made on air that was so heinous, so sick, that Kimmel was taken off?
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them. And
That's it? That's the
sick conduct?
That was just a bunch of cheap walk cycles!
What a rip!
It is unclear to me what about that statement would lead to additional FCC work. Those statements do not break any FCC guidelines that I know of. Even the closest FCC guideline I could find, the Broadcast Hoax Guideline, doesn't even cleanly map on. The Broadcast Hoax Guideline requires the broadcaster to 1. Know the information being spread is false, 2. Have it be foreseeable that the broadcast of that information would cause harm, and 3. The broadcast of that information does, in fact, cause harm. The citation of that rule would fall apart on point 3 alone. There was no harm caused by those statements. None to property, none to persons, and law enforcement was not diverted due to this remark. Similarly, on point 1, there is no part of what was stated that was false. Noted Bean lover Representative Nancy Mace was quoted as saying, "Democrats own what happened today," prior to any information about the shooter being released to the public. Ditto with Donald Trump, releasing a statement on the same night of the shooting saying that the rhetoric of the quote-unquote radical left was responsible for terrorism in the country. That statement completely ignores the fact that on the same day as the Charlie Kirk assassination, there was a school shooting at Evergreen High School. There is evidence that the shooter was radicalized by online right-wing spaces. Later, in that same monologue, Kimmel made a joke about Donald Trump's reaction to Charlie Kirk's assassination.
Your friend Charlie Kirk, may I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
yes, he's at the 4th stage of grief, construction.
That, as well, is not cause for the FCC to take Kimmel off the air. A joke, in whatever taste you may find, is not a reason to remove someone from broadcast. Jimmy Kimmel being fired was never about any official conduct by the FCC. Instead, it had more to do with the current outlook that MAGA Republicans have taken. Over the past year, there has been a noticeable shift. Republicans, who once criticized quote-unquote cancel culture during the backlash that followed George Floyd's killing and the push to silence offensive jokes, have now begun using similar tactics themselves. In the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination, many people made light of the event, in my opinion, poor taste. In response, MAGA adherents went after these people's social lives in the form of getting them fired from their jobs and removed from their schooling. This is in stark contrast to past common refrains. Cancel culture is dead, hate speech is free speech, cancel culture. All of which proved to be ultimately hollow the first time an opportunity arose for them to flex that same muscle. Those refrains instead were replaced with another. Freedom of speech, not freedom of consequences. Those words would hold more power to me if you had adhered to them at almost any time in the past. They also would hold any power over me if there was adherence to them for more than a month. Last week, a Young Republicans group chat got leaked by Politico. This group chat was filled with leaders of various state chapters of the Young Republicans. They had some creative things to say in this chat. Messages like, "Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic." He did say my delegates would vote for the most right-wing person. Great, I love Hitler. Can we get them to start releasing Nazi edits, like pro-Nazi and fascism propaganda? When referring to black people, they called them monkeys and watermelon people. If your pilot is a she and she looks 10 shades darker than someone from Sicily, just end it there. Scream the no-no word. I could continue. And you should probably check out that article for yourself. Actually, yeah, you should check out that article for yourself. But right now, it serves to prove a point. When speaking about those making jokes about Kirk's assassination, Vice President J.D. Vance said,
"So when you see someone celebrating Charlie's murder, call them out. And hell, call their employer."
When talking about the messages from the Young Republican group chat, he said,
"I really don't want us to grow up in a country where a kid telling a stupid joke, telling a very offensive stupid joke, is cause to ruin their lives. And we're not canceling kids because they do something stupid in a group chat."
There does not seem to be any principled backing to these beliefs, only the backing of power and use when it is in hand. The contrast speaks for itself. The larger story here isn't necessarily hypocrisy, it's about evolution. The party that once rallied against censorship now has its power. The same machine that was once called tyranny is now being used to silence their enemies. The energy put towards that machine has not ceased by the Republicans, it has instead changed directions.